Folks, with the attack on black voting rights, black grassroots organizations are doing all they can to protect our voting power. Mike Gelin, the former vice mayor of Tamarack, Florida, is founder of Black Vote Action. He joins us right now. Mike, you see what's happening there. We see what's happening in Florida. We see the attacks where Ron DeSantis is wiped out a congressional seat. We see you got a gubernatorial election going on in Florida coming up soon. And the bottom line is this used to be a battleground state. And we've seen black participation drop off the map in addition to Democratic participation. And so what are y'all doing there in Florida to frankly rebuild? I keep talking about that the black political infrastructure that has held many of these communities together has been, been just slowly eroding away. So how are you trying to put it together there in Florida?
Well, thanks for having me on, Roland. There are some model organizations that we need to follow. So you're familiar with Color of Change, the Collective PAC, Fair Fight Action. So the Black Vote Action is trying to follow those successful models and target black voters by engaging them, registering them to vote, finding voters where they are, black voters where they are, in the barbershops, on the basketball courts, on the football fields, and having those real conversations and letting them know why it's important to vote. You talked about the numbers shift in Florida. When Andrew Gillum nearly won the election, that put fear in the hearts and the minds of Republicans, and they got to work. At one point, we had over 300,000 more Democrats than Republicans. Now, they lead by 1.4 million voters in the state of Florida. So we need to register voters, and too many disaffected Democrats have gone to the NPA, which takes them out of the primary process. So we need to re-engage voters, black voters, let them know why it's important to register as a Democrat, even though we've had some dissatisfaction with them, and then have an organized and collective effort to make sure that the right candidates get into office that are going to promote policies that impact black individuals and others, including the Second Chance Act.
All right, so I think the point there, I think that actually has to be flipped. Here's what I mean. And when I travel around the country, when I'm talking to people, and I love these idiots who say, oh my God, you're a shilling. No, what I'm dealing first with people are policies. I'm saying policies first. Now then, okay, if you say you want these policies, you now then have to then say, okay, now let me look at these candidates. Who is likely to advocate for my policies? It might be that Democrat. So for me, I'm not even saying I need you to register to vote for a Democrat. I'm saying I need you to identify the policies that you care about, then look at who is going to advocate for those policies, and then you make the proper voting decision based upon that. Because for a lot of black voters, especially younger black voters, if the conversation is Democrat first, it's going to be an automatic turnoff.
Correct. So our goal is to present those policies. For example, conducting a disparity study, identifying the disparities that we know exist. In the city I serve, less than half of 1% of the money we spent went to black-owned businesses. And that usually happens across the board. Maynard Jackson did a disparity study back in 51 years ago in 1974, and that should have been modeled after in every city where there were black majorities over a 10-year period. That hasn't happened. Now, we can't even have disparity studies or minority preference programs. The Second Chance Act, helping returning citizens get a chance to vote. We know affordable housing is a big issue. When we have people in power, they can say to developers, hey, you can build here, but at least 25% or whatever number needs to be affordable housing. So we need to lead with policies, get our people on board with those policies, and then engage with elected officials once they're in office to ensure that they advance those policies, and then we communicate that while they're in office. Voters get frustrated because we come and ask for their vote, and then we disappear for 4 years. And then we come back 4 years later and say what we did, but they don't feel what we did, and we didn't communicate with them throughout the process. So our goal is to engage current elected officials with the community, make sure you know who's doing the right job, who's doing a good job, and then work to eliminate those who are not on our team.
So I'm curious, how are you also... again, I say voting is the end of one process and the beginning of another. And yes. Black voters matters always talked about it 365, 7 days a week. I believe one of the greatest mistakes of organizers is that we ramp up. We do all this investment. We ramp up for the election. And as soon as the election is over, it dissipates. And we're not maintaining the organizational infrastructure to then organize and mobilize those same people to say, hey, now I need you showing up to the city council meeting, the county commissioners meeting, the state house. That to me is also one of the great mistakes.
Absolutely. And part of the reason why is because we need funding. But one of the things that we did, to your point, and you reported on this, the fact that some Democrats voted in agreement to censure Al Green. So a local congressman in Florida was one of those representatives. What we did is we sent a mass text message out to all the black voters in his district, letting them know that he voted to censure Al Green. Why did you do that? You rely on us as black voters. Why did you do that? And so he heard from those voters. They wrote to him, they called him, they texted him. So he felt us. And so that's what we need to do. We need to engage with the voters after they vote. You're right. Voting is the start of a new process. And we have to engage those voters throughout that time. How do we do that? We continue to knock on doors. We send text messages, social media. But as you know, those things cost. And so we need to raise money to keep voters engaged outside and after the election cycle.
When you talked about funding, so okay, as it relates to what's happening there, what is your focus with Black Vote Action in terms of, if I look at the state, you can't do everything. How are you targeting the state? How are you, what are your top 2, 3 priorities in terms of places you're looking to increase turnout 3, 5, 7, 10%?
So Broward is the Black Democratic stronghold. Every constitutional officer in the county except one is Black. So what we want to do is increase the voter turnout here in Broward, and then model that in Palm Beach and Miami-Dade County, because South Florida, the Tri-County area, is a stronghold for Black voters. And then the following cities, Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa, are the next cities we want to target. And we want to work with other partners like Equal Ground to help spread the message and to increase voter engagement and voter turnout in those cities. But again, as you know, when you send a mass text message or a mass email, that costs money. And so we want to be involved in the community, make sure they know that we're there, and continue to engage with them on a regular basis.
How, in terms of when you look at the state, I got it, Broward's number 1. Yeah. What are the other 2 to 3, 4 we should be paying attention to, counties in Florida where Black folks can make a huge difference?
So Jacksonville, huge city and county. And as you mentioned, Ron DeSantis got rid of a congressional district there with the approval of the Florida Supreme Court. So that's another large major city where we need to mobilize, activate, bring voter registration to the highest level possible, and get Black voters to turn out, and make sure that we have elected officials that understand how to communicate and how to speak the language so that you can engage and increase Black voter turnout. Outside of Jacksonville, you have Orlando, you have Tampa, you have those major cities where most of us are. And the unique thing about Florida, when you're talking about Black voters, you're talking about Jamaican Americans, Haitian Americans, Bahamian Americans, and African Americans. And so there are several languages or several people you have to talk to in a certain way to get that vote out. What's disappointing about the Democratic Party is they recognize that in the Hispanic community and have a language for the Venezuelans. They know the issues of the Cubans, but no one's really focusing on the different issues of impacting the diversity of the Black American community in Florida.
Have you had any conversations with Nikki Fried, who is the state chair of the Democratic Party?
Yes, we have. And, when you look at the success of the major candidates who've done very well, starting with Barack Obama, Andrew Gillum, Stacey Abrams, you recognize that you have to build your own infrastructure before the party finally joins in. So we've had those conversations. We continue to have those conversations. And we hope that they view us as a viable vehicle in future elections. And they will need to. And we try to get involved and engage with the with the Harris campaign for president. But they wrote Florida off. So it wasn't a priority. But yes, we've been engaging with the party elected officials in Broward, Palm Beach, Miami-Dade County, and the state representative, Nikki Fried.
I've got DNC Chair Ken Martin coming up next. What would you ask him? What would you say to him?
Provide the necessary funding we need to Black Vote Action, and let us take the lead in mobilizing, engaging, and increasing voter turnout of Black voters in Broward County and in South Florida. and then further up throughout the state of Florida.
What's the number? The reality is, if you're talking about people and what type of investment, you got a gubernatorial election coming up next year. You got congressional races. What is the number needed to invest in black voter turnout in Florida? What's your number?
You're looking at millions of dollars because you're really
no. I don't want a broad number. I want a specific number. Is it 5 million? Is it 7 million? Is it 8? Is it 10? What is it?
Yeah. So you're looking at about $12.50 per vote. So you're looking at about $5 million at a minimum.
A minimum $5 million investment, and you're promising what is it? Is it a 3 to 5% increase in black voter turnout? I'm just interested in your data in terms of if you say make this investment, this is what we're going to then be able to do.
Yeah. So we're going to be able to engage unregistered voters and get them registered. And we're going to be able to take the current voter turnout, which is about 60%, 65% in the black vote, and take that up to 70, maybe above 70%.
Well, I've made the point that where you have black folks, the minimum turnout has to be 70%. If we want to maximize our voting power, it cannot be. You talked about Andrew Gelin. The reality is the Democratic turnout. I remember Tallahassee Democrat had a chart. You didn't get to like number 11 or 12. The top 10, 11 turnout counties were all red.
Yes.
And so that was the case.
And if you look at the video back then, especially in the primary race, Gelin was down, and Gelin kept asking, did Broward hit yet? Did Broward hit yet? Did Broward hit yet? It didn't hit. Once Broward hit, that took him over the top, and he came out the primary with the victory.
All right. Mike, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. See you soon.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.